What's up, guys? I am really tired right now. Yeah. But, in any event, this was a long time coming. The videos I posted, about like an hour after it finished, those were just like quick thoughts on the event. But, anyway, time to get in depth, a full review of it. I'm talking about WrestleMania 30. The pay-per-view. I got my DVD and all, and I know you're probably asking, but Angel, it's on the network. Why did you get the DVD? Well, it's just something that I need to do. I mean, I hardly get any pay-per-views on DVD anymore. I get like the documentaries and the match compilations, but hardly any pay-per-views. But I always gotta get WrestleMania on DVD. Hardly get any of the other pay-per-views on DVD. I don't know what I was just saying before this. Oh my god, my mind is. I'm tired right now, but I figured I'd bring this to you anyway. You little fuckers. No, I'm just playing. But I know after I posted those videos, I know I was talking about it like it wasn't all that good of an event just because of that one moment. But I mean, really, it was a great event. The only reason I was talking about it like that is because I was so close to going, and and then, in the middle of after seeing how great it was, I was like, fuck, I was so close to being there. And it was my senior year in high school, and usually senior year, that's like the ending part, so you want to do something big to close it out. And so, I was like, ah, man, and it's messed up because I was talking about it for over a year. Ever since February of 2013, I'd been talking about WrestleMania 30 Superdome. It's gotta happen, and it didn't fucking happen. But I mean, you usually think that senior year you gotta do something to close off high school life. You gotta do something big, and I just think my high school life would have been better if I had went to this. But that's just what I think. But it doesn't matter what I fucking think. Let's jump into the main card. Well, to start it off, we had the opening segment, which was epic. We had Hulk Hogan in the ring, and he's already fucking everything up. I mean, he thinks he's in the the Silver Dome. He's calling it the WWF Network. I'm just like, oh man, this is gonna be a disaster. And, then he got himself corrected. Alright, we are in the Superdome. And and I can guarantee that more WrestleMania moments will be made. And he's like, and then but you never know when and then you hear the glass break. Out comes the man himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin, making his way to the ring at WrestleMania 30. I thought he was gonna come out on the ATV at first. I thought that's why it was taking him so long to come out, but he eventually came out. And I think at one point. No, actually not. I think he. No, not I think he did. I watched this on pay-per-view at a bar that I had watched quite a few recent pay-per-views at. I watched it with Jacob Telez. For those of you who've been following me long enough, know who that is. But we watched it, and I swear, when this guy put his hands in the air, he did middle fingers when he went to the first corner. The first corner that he went to put his hands in the air, he did middle fingers, and the camera like zoomed in so that way it would look like this, and instead of this being in there. And then I think when he went to the other corners, he just did this. But yeah, I've seen him put the middle fingers up, and of course people in the crowd are gonna, shit. They're gonna just, oh my god, it's so cold. You get what I'm saying, but and then it looks like he's gonna open up a can of whoop ass on him, but he's cutting some interesting shit right there, saying some good shit, and then next thing you know, if you smell what the Rock is cooking. Nah, man, that was kind of terrible, but you get what I'm saying. And I haven't been much of a big fan of The Rock. Well, I mean, in the past 2 years, I wasn't a big fan of him as a wrestler, as an in-ring competitor. I mean, having him there is okay. Like, having him there at WrestleMania 30, I thought that was cool, having him in the ring with all three of those guys. And even though it took up the first 30 minutes, not the whole promos, well, kind of the whole promo. I mean, because you had the intro, you had the pyro, you had entrances to these three guys, and they're drinking their beers, and then you had the promo for the opening match. But what I'm trying to get to is that even though it took up a lot of time, it was worth it. I mean, it wasn't like The Rock when he came out at WrestleMania 27 and took up all that time. I mean, oh my god. I mean, honestly, that promo was not all that interesting from The Rock. It was just, him saying, when I say this, you say that. I mean, it wasn't your classic Rock promo. But this opening segment was just epic. And it was from right there, I was like, damn, I could have fucking been there. But what are you gonna do? I said, what are you gonna do? Let's jump into the first match. We got Triple H going up against Daniel Bryan. The winner gets to be in the World Heavyweight Championship match later in the night. I thought this was a really good match. One of the best openers in WrestleMania history, in my opinion. And I'm not too sure, but I think this was the longest match of the night, coming in at 26 minutes. Yeah, and so, here we go. We're culminating the storyline of Daniel Bryan when he got screwed at SummerSlam. The whole best for business thing starting. Now, I knew for a fact Daniel Bryan was going to be in the main event itself, but I was like, maybe something else might also happen. Triple H might get involved somehow. Maybe Daniel wins clean, but Triple H announces himself in the match anyway. Or maybe it's a draw, and then Vince McMahon comes out and he's all like, alright, I invented WrestleMania, and it's a draw. You two will be in it. It'll be a fatal four-way. But, and I also thought to myself, Triple H might win it, but he might win it not clean. Like, he might have his hand or his foot on the ropes, and then, somebody of a authority figure talks about that, and it says, because of that, I cannot change the fact that Triple H is in that match, but I can add to it, and Daniel Bryan, you will be in it, and thus making it still a fatal four-way. Like, I knew for a fact Daniel Bryan was going to be in there, but I'm like, how exactly is he going to get in there? But I mean, he went in, he got over clean on Triple H, and Triple H going for the pedigree, I believe. It's reversed into a running knee, not reversed, but Daniel Bryan gets out of it, and then eventually hits the running knee on Triple H and goes for the pinfall, 1, 2, 3. Daniel Bryan wins, only to be assaulted by Triple H and Stephanie after the match. But it was a damn good opener. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Very good. One of the best WrestleMania openers in my opinion. And then the next match is the New Age Outlaws and Kane, Corporate Kane, going up against The Shield. This honestly wasn't all that. I wish it was more like The Shield's match at last year's WrestleMania, because it seems like Kane and the Outlaws were hardly putting up any offense. And I would give this like maybe a 5 out of 10. But because of the way it ended, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I mean, I love that ending with the triple powerbomb on the Outlaws and JBL's commentary. There goes the Attitude Era. I actually kind of like JBL on commentary, but anyway, I mean, it would be a little better if the opposing team put up more offense, but I thought the ending was cool, and because of that, I won't give it a very low rating. It'll still be low, but not very low. So I'm gonna say a 6 out of 10. Then next we had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal for that Andre the Giant trophy, and I didn't know Cesaro was gonna be in it. There were 3 unannounced spots, and I didn't know Cesaro was gonna be in there. If I had known about this before my prediction video, then I probably would have predicted him to be one of the winners. But it was a good match, some good spots. I think you had Del Rio and Sheamus eliminate themselves at the same time in the middle of it. You had Kofi Kingston get lifted over the ropes by Cesaro, only to have his feet on the stairs, signaling he's not out. And then of course the epic ending. Big Show looks like he's gonna throw out Cesaro, but Cesaro reverses with a strike, and then he picks, or not a strike, an uppercut, and he picks Big Show up and throws him over the top ropes. Man, I was just in awe at that moment. And Cesaro wins the match. Wasn't like the match itself wasn't all that special, but I mean it was good. It just wasn't like, you know, like really all that. I mean, it's the inaugural Memorial Battle Royal of Andre the Giant, and I hear that they're gonna do it as a yearly tradition at WrestleMania. So I guess it's something to remember. You know, the very first one. I don't know what I'm, like I said, I'm tired, but my ratings are, I mean my ratings for each match, and for this one I'm gonna say a 7.5 out of 10. Yes, sir. Uh, then the next match, the Legacy, John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. And honestly, I was stuck in the middle on this one. I actually felt like Bray could go over, because you see, the thing is, John Cena, you know, coming into this match, he's like, I fight for my legacy. I can't let my legacy be lost at this year's WrestleMania. But if you remember, 2 years ago, he was going up against The Rock at WrestleMania in Miami. And, you know, he's kind of saying the same thing. You know, if I lose this match, I will have nothing left. This is what I need more than anything in my life. And what happens? He lost. He lost to The Rock. Only to win it back, only to win next year. But, I mean, still, he lost to that match. So I figured, alright, this shouldn't be that big of a deal, seeing as he's kind of saying the same things that he was saying in his build-up to the match against The Rock. But, this was a good match. The promo, see, at first, I wasn't too hyped up about this, you know. I didn't really think Bray was at that caliber yet, but because I originally wanted to see Cena and The Undertaker at this year's WrestleMania. But, then the build-up for Bray and Cena's going on, and I'm just like, alright, this could be a good match at WrestleMania. And the promos with Eminem's Legacy, very damn good. And I was like, damn, I think now WWE has changed my mind on this match, you know. And then all of a sudden, you know, I want to see it. The Wyatts had an epic entrance. And Cena's entrance, man, this was the weekend that Cena became the new Kurt Angle. John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks. John Cena, you know, it's to the tune of it, kind of like Kurt Angle's, you know, you suck, you suck, and it, I mean, it makes sense, you know. I thought that was pretty funny, but I've heard that before actually. I watched a video that some fan recorded from his seat of John Cena's live entrance at WrestleMania 28, and him and his entire section, well, I don't know about the entire section, but a lot of the people around him were singing that along to it. So that's been invented before the New Orleans crowd, just so we all are clear on that. As a matter of fact, I think I'll put the link to that video in the bio. I think I will. It's going to be down there. The original birth of John Cena sucks. The original birth of that song. But anyway, the match between John Cena and Bray Wyatt was really good. I'm glad WWE changed my mind on wanting to see this, and they made me want to see it after all the build-up. I mean, a lot of back and forth action in this. You had that one good moment where John Cena's gonna do the 5-knuckle shuffle, and then when he bounces off the ropes, and Bray does the little exorcist shit, and John Cena looks like he shit bricks. I mean, shit was funny. We had some good spots with the guys that weren't even in the match. There was one point where John Cena's recovering outside the ring, and like Luke Harper is like standing there saying something to him, and then John Cena just all of a sudden gets up and spears him through the barricade. I thought that was pretty neat. And then you had Bray trying to make John Cena destroy his own legacy by giving him a chair and telling him, finish me, unleash that monster inside of you. And then only for Rowan to be up on the apron and Cena to hit him, and Bray's gonna go for the roll up, only for Cena to kick out at two. Kicks out at two. Then you had Bray going for the Sister Abigail, only for Cena to reverse into the FU, or the AA, whatever you want to call it, and Cena picks up the win. That was a really good match. And honestly, I think it was better than the next match I'm about to talk about, but really good. I'm going to give that an 8.5 out of 10. These guys pulled it off so well. And we had the Hall of Fame inductees coming out, having their moment. And then the next match, it is Brock Lesnar going up against The Undertaker. This is the one. This is the one. This is the moment. The smallest number becomes the biggest. I mean, I know Taker's old as shit, and Brock Lesnar, he's pretty aggressive in the ring. That's why I said to myself, man, Taker's gonna win, but Brock Lesnar's still gonna do a damn number on him. Out of all three of the main events, I'm talking about this, Bray and Cena, and the triple threat for the title. Out of all three of the main events, this was the one that I was the most sure of. I was like, Undertaker's gonna win. There's no way he's gonna lose this. I mean, we've got to see a Cena versus Undertaker at some point. And on top of that, Shawn Michaels didn't do it. Triple H didn't do it. Even CM Punk didn't do it. There's no way Brock Lesnar can win this. There's no way that it could happen, you know? And I remember when the match was announced, you know, I was like, alright, we're not getting Cena versus Undertaker, but Brock versus Taker could be pretty good. But the build-up was slow. I mean, it wasn't really slow, but it was just boring, you know? And I was like, man, what if they don't deliver on the match, you know? And here comes the match for the streak, and it is slow. I mean, not even Brock was seeming confused at some points. If you watch that match closely, it seems like he was confused at quite a few points in there. And Taker, he botched the last ride. Shit. I mean, I just wasn't really all that interested in it. And, you know, at one point I was like, alright, we'll wait for Sting versus Taker next year at WrestleMania. How about it? And, you know, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it was just slow. It was boring. It wasn't your typical Undertaker WrestleMania match. I mean, especially coming off of those past great matches that he's had ever since 23. Because 22 was his last kind of bad match. And then 23 and on, he was putting on just amazing performances. And, well, 22 was his last bad match up until 30, I should say. But, you know, you had Lesnar hit 2 F5s. Taker botched his last ride. He had a tombstone at one point, and Lesnar kicked out of that. And Taker did this shit, and I'm just like, alright, I called 90% of this shit. I said, okay, he's going to go for another tombstone. Brock Lesnar's going to reverse. He's going to give him the F5. He's going to go for the pinfall. Taker kicks out at 2. I called 90% of that shit. You know, I had seen it happen, and, you know, when Lesnar delivered that third F5, you didn't hear the crowd going, ah, ah, because, you know, they're not all into it. On top of that, they don't think that's the match ender. That's why they weren't, like, all rowdy. I wasn't even rowdy. I mean, even when I know it's not going to be an ending pinfall, you know, I'm still attached to it, you know, just to see. I'm talking about during Taker matches at WrestleMania, but, you know, I'm still attached to it. So, like, I'm attached to that just to see what's going to happen, you know, and I'm like, even though I know, okay, he's going to kick out, you know, but then Lesnar hits that third F5, I'm like, alright, everything I predicted is gone through so far, now we just need this last part. 1, 2, and I'm like, alright, here we go, he's going to kick out. 3. I immediately stood out of the booth in the restaurant that I was sitting at. So did Jacob. Everybody stood up in that place. And they're like, oh my God, oh my God. And Jacob looked at me, he's like, and you see, I had the same exact face as that black guy that was sitting in the front row, the one that's been getting so talked about, you know, in the Bryan shirt and the crooked glasses. I was just as shocked as him. And I was just, I had the same face as him, but I had my hands right here. And Jacob asked me, he's like, he kicked out at 2, right? And I'm just like, he's like, I didn't hear a bell. I was like, I didn't hear a bell either, but I saw this the ref's hand come down, and I didn't see Taker's shoulder come up. I was like, he pinned him. I have never seen a crowd of more shocked people. This is easily the most shocking moment in WrestleMania history. Man, that streak lasted for years. And I kept thinking to myself, man, what if and I'm talking about in the back of my mind, I'm like, what if a referee comes out and reverses this shit, like, oh man, his shoulder wasn't all the way down or something. And then, you know, the winner of this match, Brock Lesnar. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I'm like, no, wait, it could still be reversed, possibly. Nope. It shows a view from the top of the stadium, and it shows that big old screen that they have above the ring. It says 21-1. Oh my god. The streak is over. And I mean, in that moment, the moment itself was just undescribable. I mean, I'm looking around, fucking everybody is shocked. I mean, it was just a what the fuck moment around the world. You know, but I guess all good things must come to an end after all, I suppose. I mean, and after he won against CM Punk last year, I thought to myself, yeah, at this point, there's kind of is no reason to end the streak. I mean, Taker's gonna be in the Hall of Fame, but you would think that in this Hall of Fame announcement they would say, you know, this guy is the only man to be undefeated at WrestleMania with a streak of 20 whatever and oh. Taker. Nobody can come close to that, to his undefeated record. But now he's no longer undefeated. He lost. But why to Brock Lesnar? I mean, you didn't let Shawn Michaels do it. You didn't let Triple H do it. You didn't let CM Punk do it. You got it, and then you let Brock Lesnar do it? What? I mean, he's not like The Rock when he doesn't come back to promote movies and shit, but you let this guy that hardly even wrestles end it all. I mean, honestly, at this point, the one guy that you have left to end the streak is John Cena. And if John Cena doesn't end it, alright, I'm not too upset, but I mean, at least have him challenge it. But Shawn Michaels said that the decision to end the streak was made by Vince McMahon, and it wasn't made until 4 hours before WrestleMania started. And one of my followers was there. He said that after the Raw the next night, he went to a bar, and one of the guys working there says his brother is the director for WWE, and apparently that match was supposed to go on longer, but WWE gives this rule to their refs where even if they don't kick out, you still gotta count it like it's meant to happen. And I guess that explains the shock. That explains why Heyman was selling his reaction so good, you know? Not even he expected it. It wasn't supposed to end there, apparently. That's why Heyman sold it so good. And man, it was just the feeling was just, oh my god, I had to go to sleep thinking about that. Thinking, the longest lasting streak ever is over. And, to think I'm at school just thinking about that shit. Our teacher's showing us something on the board. All I can see on the board is 21-1 with little lightning bolts in the background. That's all I could see. Prom was 6 days after WrestleMania on that following Saturday night. And even at prom, I could hear in the back of my head, I could still hear Paul Heyman's voice saying, "Oh my God, you did it! You conquered the streak!" It was crazy. And I heard two people, it hasn't been confirmed all around yet, but heard two people, because you see, after Taker walked out behind the curtain, you had the WrestleMania 31 promo come up. Well, and obviously that promo played in the arena too, after Taker left. So, what I heard was, from some people in the arena, was that after Taker walked behind the curtain, his music died down. It said 21-1, but right before it switched to the WrestleMania 31 promo, apparently an animation popped up on the screen in the Superdome saying 22-0. It hasn't been completely confirmed yet. I've only heard like two people say it, that they seen that the screen in there said 22-0. So I guess it makes sense that Taker didn't know yet whether he wanted it to end or not. But yeah, and that's the end of it. End of the longest lasting streak. Now, I don't hate Brock Lesnar. I'm not like one of those people that's getting after Brock like as if he murdered my family. No, it's just that I didn't think that he should have been the one. But we're reminded of it every week by Paul Heyman. My client Brock Lesnar conquered the streak. My client Brock Lesnar conquered the streak. My client Brock Lesnar conquered the streak! But moving on, we wipe away the sadness. The show must go on. But I mean, we're talking about females here. Not only is it the hardest spot in WrestleMania history to follow, but females gotta follow it. The Divas matches next is that Vicky Guerrero Invitational for the Divas Championship. You got AJ Lee going up against every diva on the main roster, including the newly signed ones, which are Emma and Summer Rae. Summer Rae's kind of been there, but Emma was the most recent one. And this match was a mess. It was absolutely everywhere. Cameron had a wardrobe malfunction in the middle of it. I only saw like a picture of it from her back. Like she's like doing this, but like you could see her arms crossed like that. The picture's taken from her back, remember? And I don't see anything covering her back. So apparently her attire fell off. I heard something about that. She rolled out of the ring after that and never got back into the match. She said something on Twitter that her stylist, whatever that chick on Total Divas name is, that old bitch, nah, but seriously, that old lady, she said that she gets the girl by, and apparently it's because of that wardrobe malfunction. But it wasn't talked about on Total Divas. Hell, the streak ending was so big that it was talked about on Total Divas. That was talked about there. But it was a mess. I mean, the only things that I really focused on was that double outside dive by the Bella Twins, Nikki giving the rack attack to her sister. I think Natty tried to lock in a double sharpshooter, a double or triple sharpshooter. And then in the end, you have AJ Lee tap out. Trinity tap out to AJ Lee. See, damn Total Divas is making me say the real names of everybody. Naomi tapped out to AJ Lee. And match was a mess. And on top of that, I had to follow up the streak ending. I gotta give it a 4 out of 10. But the only good thing about this was that AJ had her WrestleMania moment. I'm thinking about the struggles that she came through and the hard work that she put in, and she finally did it. She finally won the main event at WrestleMania, or not a main event, but close to the main event. And yeah, she wins that. Then we come up next to the triple threat. It's Daniel Bryan going up against Batista, going up against Randy Orton, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And so it starts off looking like a handicap. I mean, you had Batista and Orton going up against each other at certain points, but it's mostly a handicap for the most part. Triple H and Stephanie come through the crowd apparently. Yeah, they came through the... Why are people coming through the crowd now in WWE? Kane came through the crowd when he attacked Daniel Bryan in front of his wife. And Paul Heyman came through that crowd during that SmackDown taping that I went to. It was during main event though. They were live streaming main event. But Paul Heyman came through the crowd. Anyway, Triple H came through the crowd at WrestleMania along with his wife. And at one point, Randy Orton's outside the ring with them, and Daniel Bryan does the suicide dive onto the outside and lands on all three of them. Triple H tries to get in with his sledgehammer. Bryan takes it from him and then uses it on Triple H. I thought that was pretty neat. And the next neat thing that happened was that spot with the Batista bomb into an RKO through the announce table. I thought that was pretty cool. You had Daniel Bryan getting stretchered away, only to come back. And man, there was a lot of fucking edge of your seat action in this match. You had, so many near falls, and not near falls for Daniel Bryan, but for the other guys, and you think the match is gonna end there. Originally, it was said that Batista was supposed to win the match anyway. That's just what some of the dirt sheets were saying. But of course, you can't always trust them. But anyway, what happened was, there was just so much back and forth action. You had Batista trying to spear Orton. He jumps over Batista, and Batista spears Bryan. And then, you have Orton hit a RKO on Batista, goes for the pinfall, and Batista kicks out. You have Bryan hit a running knee on Orton, only to get thrown out of the ring by Batista. It looks like Batista's going to take the cheap way out, but Orton kicks out. And then in the end, you had Batista hit the Batista bomb on Randy Orton. And then Bryan hits the knee on Batista. And then he locks in the yes lock. He's got it locked in. You think Randy Orton's going to come into the ring to break it up, but Batista taps out. We have a new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And it completely overshadowed the streak ending. It was an amazing moment. But at the same time, it's bittersweet because I could have been there. I could have been in the sea of that crazy crowd that was going nuts and that was yesing and the confetti falling. I could have collected some WrestleMania confetti and showed it to you in my hand, but it's not here because I wasn't there. But that long journey, ever since seeing him back in ROH and to come here and win the main event at WrestleMania, it was just a fantastic moment. On top of that, it felt like not only did he win it, but it felt like we, as people, we the fans, won that too. Because we had been supporters of Daniel Bryan ever since we saw him in the independent circuit. And, to see him come that long way and to finally realize the dream, I feel like we won the championship too. Now for that, I gotta give this match a 9 out of 10. I don't know if did I rate Bray Wyatt and Cena? I give that an 8.5. Oh yeah, I did rate it. I don't know if I can't remember if I rated Lesnar and Taker, but that gets a 6.5. And this main event, I told you my Divas match rate, but this main event gets a 9 out of 10. It certainly was a great WrestleMania in terms of edge of your seat action, emotional roller coasters. It was amazing. I just wish I could have been there, but, maybe, I don't know, I kind of have a theory on time, but I'm not going to discuss that with you right now. It was a great pay-per-view. If you haven't seen it yet, I don't know who would have not seen this yet, but still, you got to check it out. It was amazing. But yeah, that's all for now. I'm going to post a video talking about Comic Palooza last May. And I'm also going to post another video talking about Coastal Mania, which will be at this Saturday. I'll explain that. But yeah, this is Angel Rincon. I'm tired, signing out. It is Monday night, by the way. But this is going to be up on Tuesday afternoon. Good night, everybody.